Okay, the last category here, the eSign right within your deal submission platform. So this is getting used more and more and more. And, it's a nice thing to have. So I'll just go through a couple of the big ones, the research I was able to do ahead of this, the ones I was able to find. So starting with Velocity, I was able to look at what they have. They use DocuSign. Right? So I've used that word a lot, but they basically, in their product, they don't have their own eSign. They've embedded this provider right in their product, DocuSign. And so really all the points made DocuSign can be made here. I actually don't know if you can do templates within Velocity if someone knows one way or the other. I wasn't able to see that. I was looking for it. I don't know. So maybe that's actually one of the drawbacks of doing it in your deal submission platform. You don't get maybe all the features because it isn't the whole product, right? It's like this embedded version that Velocity has taken and put in their product, and it's a little bit less. But again, the benefit, we talked about some of these other cases, that it is all within that ecosystem, right? So if you've collected documents or you have a compliance document in Velocity, because that's where you're managing things anyways, it's just a few clicks to get it, over into an eSign platform, which is really, really great. And that's true for all these platforms I'm about to talk about. Having it all in one place is super convenient, which is nice. Scarlett Mortgage, Axiom Innovations, they do DocuSign as well. It's almost identical how Velocity does it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. The only difference is that I can maybe find, I know for sure Velocity charges for it. So if you use an envelope in DocuSign, they'll actually charge you for it, which I totally understand because they probably have costs from DocuSign. I wasn't able to find that on Scarlett, and maybe that's, again, just lack of research. So again, if anyone out there knows this, but I wasn't able to find that. Wasn't immediately apparent on any of kind of their public-facing information. So curious about that one, but that might be the only difference. But if I had to guess, if I was a betting man, I'd probably charge something, probably a couple bucks per envelope, something very similar to Velocity. And then the final one I did some research on was Finmo Lendesk. They have an e-signature right within their platform. They don't charge for it, so that's a little bit different than the other ones, but it's OneSpan, which we haven't talked about yet. It's obviously not DocuSign. I've talked a lot about DocuSign this episode. It's probably similar to some of the other ones. I honestly actually have heard that some of the UI in terms of clicking and dragging and finding the right box to put it in can get a little finicky sometimes. I'm not as familiar with it, but again, I kind of put it in that 2 category. If DocuSign is 1 and all these other ones are in the 2 bucket, I think OneSpan belongs there as well. So I've been alluding to it the whole episode, and I think especially in terms of deal submission platforms, this is of course true as well, is yes, things integrated all together is really nice and very convenient and might save me some money. But what's the downside of it? And the downside of it is, the stickiness that comes with it, right? So if I go back even to the Dropbox little blurb that I had, yes, it's nice that they're integrated, they're all together, but now you're that much more dependent on Dropbox. Now it's that much harder to leave Dropbox. I would even say the same about Zoho and Blue Mortgage, right? If you're using the eSign there, it's that much harder to leave Blue Mortgage, right? If I'm being unbiased about that. And of course, that's absolutely true about your deal submission platform. If you're using eSignature there, if all these documents that are actually really important for compliance are just embedded as part of your deal submission platform, it's going to be that much harder to switch. And I just caution because I have seen a lot of switches in the past, call it 2-3 years. And, these platforms know it. And that's a lot of the reason why they come out with these features. Of course, they want to make a better product. And I totally understand what they're doing, but they're also in the back of their head saying, hey, the better the product, the more embedded these types of things are in my product, the harder it is to leave. And so I guess kind of, so what, right? If someone's listening to like, okay, I can kind of get on board with what you're saying, Tom. So what do I do about it? I just say keep it kind of church and state in a sense of, look for your eSign platform, whatever it might be, and pick it based on eSign really. And okay, you know what, maybe if you want to save some money, use these other platforms, but don't keep it in these platforms, right? So even if you're using, I'll use Blue Mortgage just to show I'm not biased here. Even if you're using the eSign in Blue Mortgage, go once it's signed and put it into your local drive or your Google Drive or whatever you use that's independent, that's different, so that, hey, if tomorrow you say I want to no longer use Blue Mortgage or this deal submission platform, you're like, but oh crap, I don't have all my documents that I need. Okay, I can't leave. Keep it separate, separate these interests, and keep each tool for really what it's intended for. And that way you can make really the right decisions for your mortgage business.